on.
Oh, you're
My
good.
bad.
You're good. So, welcome everybody. This is season 2, episode 10 of Purgatory Club. Today we have a special guest. We got Jade the Psychic. What's up, Jade?
Hi everyone. I'm good. I'm so grateful to be here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I was excited to talk to you. I'm nervous, like I just said, but this will be
Yeah.
fun. So let's take it back to the start. Like, what first got you into like spooky stuff? Like, what did you always know that you were a psychic?
Oh, so that is such a strange question because I feel like my life's almost gone in layers. So growing up, I was kind of like raised in a very toxic kind of family, like a lot of abuse and things like that. And I'd always see this figure of a woman stood by my door, probably from about the age of 5. She looked like something out of a horror movie. She had like a veil covering her face and a long Victorian wedding dress. And I'd kind of just speak to her, but I was never raised spiritual and I was a little skeptical, like, oh, is this your shadow? I'd look at all different corners of light to try and make it make sense. Um, it wasn't until one day when I was particularly upset that this shadow moved from its spot by the door and kind of started coming towards me, which freaked me the fuck out at the time because I didn't even believe in things like this. Um, and then I'd say many years later, maybe about 10 years later, me and my ex, we missed the last train home and we had to stay at one of his friends' houses who I'd never met before. The next morning we wake up and his mum just happens to be a psychic. And she looks at me and she says, the lady who stood by your door, she's one of your guardian kind of like angels. But at this time, I'd started kind of dabbling into tarot. And my story with my first deck, you really shouldn't do this, but I didn't have any spiritual influences or any clue on what spiritual hygiene was. And I actually stole my first deck of tarot cards. It was from a big chain business, it wasn't like from a small business. And I didn't realize that when you're working with spirit or anything like that, it's not supposed to feel like someone's stood behind you and staring at you in a really horrible kind of way. The energy's meant to feel a lot lighter. When I saw that woman, she looked at me and she just knew. She said, you have tarot cards, they're not for you, like there's something attached to you.
How old
And
were you when
yeah,
that first experience happened?
with the lady, the ghost lady, probably about 5, but it happened for
Wow.
years and years. And I'll feel like a hand on my shoulder. Um, and apparently that's her. So she'll come with me when I'm doing my readings and things like that. But I don't
I'm so
quite know
curious
who
about
she is.
tarot though. What was it about that form of divination specifically?
So I think growing up, my first kind of form of divination that I was given was by another ex-boyfriend of mine. He gave me a pendulum and he was like, I'm not really sure what this is, but like, have I it in a sense? So I looked up on how to use it, and when it started moving on its own, answering the question, it scared me so much and I threw it against the wall. But with tarot, I just happened to be in that bookshop and I just saw this deck and I was like, well, all this other weird shit's happening to me. I'm pretty sure like there could be something there. So that's where I just kind of got them. And I remember pulling my first cards and they were all accurate. But I'd also say for me as well, with all of the things that I've kind of been through, I was always quite an anxious child. And tarot helped me kind of like get a different perspective on my situations without having to talk to people. So that really helped me there as well, which is why I want to do this full time.
It's really cool because I'm also super anxious. I always tell people I'm like the world's biggest introvert. So I got no business doing this, like having a show, like doing things like
Right?
this and putting myself out there and doing the whole social media thing. Like I got no business doing none of this shit. So it's hilarious, but it's like my therapy, right? So I think you almost in a way were using it as like your therapy.
Absolutely. I mean, my hand's shaking underneath my phone whilst we're doing this, so I definitely relate to you. Especially doing this as I do this full time, and I realized when I started this, in order to do what I want to do, I need to be a certain kind of person, and that certain kind of person is confident on the internet. So I fully get you. I hate making content. I hate being on stage, but I force myself to do these things like for my purpose in a way.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I'm also like, I can't stand being on stage, but I saw a quote one time. It was like, when you don't fit into like the crowd, like you're supposed to be on stage. So it's just like I feel like certain people are meant to just do. I'm in college right now and I'm studying psychology. And it's so
Oh,
crazy. Even like my
okay.
whole ecosystem is just spookiness. So I'm studying the occult in my own time in college and with the podcast with all the people I get to talk to. So my whole ecosystem revolves around this stuff. But it's weird. It's like the psychology behind it is interesting for me because it's like there's certain people that are meant to like be a leader, and then there are certain people that are just that will just follow and follow, and they'll never lead in their life. But so it's interesting that you say that was just how you got on this path, and it's interesting. It's so cool to see what you're turning into because again, the psychology of it.
Oh, absolutely. Like I studied psychology at college as well, which is crazy. But I just yeah, I agree what you mean with leaders and followers, and I don't think it's a thing to be obnoxious about or arrogant about. I mean, it's like me and my best friend, we have a dynamic where it's like I'm naturally more of a leader and she's a bit more of a follower, but we bat off each other so well and we grow so well through doing that. But also, she's not afraid to tell me when I fucked up. Like there's balance within that. It doesn't have to be a hierarchical thing. It's just
There's a beauty in
you're
it,
wrong.
and there's nothing wrong with either or, being the leader or being the follower. It's
Yeah,
just that's just how people are. That's just how humans. If you study it, like if you study people,
mhm,
that's just how people
it
are.
is like,
People are inherently that way. Just
and it
if
helps
it
them
takes a
become
certain kind of
more like,
person to like realize that and then like do something about it. Know that you're meant to be on that stage and then get on the stage. That's when shit
yeah,
turns up, and that's when it gets fun. So
when
it's
you
cool to
feel like
see
you've
because I've never thought of myself being this kind of person, but here we are. And now I wonder if it's the same for you. Like, did you ever see yourself doing this? Like going to fairs. Like I love going to fairs and doing that. And then
yeah,
like being out there and it gives you a reason to do those things.
absolutely. I mean, I've always had such a fire in me of desire to want to be something bigger than like myself in a way. And I just kind of felt like I couldn't do it unless I really, really put in the work, unless I was able to interrogate myself, shit myself. So I've always wanted to kind of have a space like that, but I think growing up the way I grew up, there was so much anxiety drilled into me, whether it was being a goth kid in a school in a small town in Essex, which is a notoriously small-minded kind of place, or if
I
it
wanted to
was,
ask about that as well, like what the scene is like over there
yeah,
in the UK, because I'm so curious. Like, 'cause over here in Vegas, I live in Las Vegas, but over here on the West Coast, it's
oh,
everybody's just you can be whatever you want to be, and nobody's gonna. It's hard to be the weird person in Las Vegas or in LA, like, because
yeah,
everybody's weird. So it's normal out here. So I wanted to ask about that. How is it out there in the UK?
no, that's awesome. I'd say so. It depends where you are. If you're in London, so the city, I'll go up in London and I'll dress really crazy. Like I might put a bat's nest in my hair, very trad goth, like that kind of look. No one will bat an eye. But I can go around walking like this, which is pretty normal for me. Where I live, every single car that drives past is staring at you. Like
Wow,
people are just shocked. It's that small
you can
town
feel the
mentality.
judgment.
Yeah, but there's something almost empowering by it. I feel like if you're not being authentic to yourself and there's adversity there, then you're not doing it right. Like, you don't need to kind of fit into other people's molds. Like, go by the beat of
I
your own
never
drum.
understood that. It's like I see a lot of people these days wanting to be liked and wanting to be wanted and wanting to
Hmm.
follow the crowd. I'm like, to me, it's never been more obvious how lost the crowd is, honestly. So I'm like, I
Yeah,
can't imagine wanting to be liked by those people because I know that they don't jive with me. I know that we're
yeah,
different, and that's
like
okay.
a
You don't
little
got to be
filter.
everybody's cup of tea. You just got to be
Hmm.
a couple of people's cup of tea, and they will follow you into the sunset. But you don't have to. That was a big lesson for me when I first got into like witchcraft. Like, you don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. You're not gonna be everybody's cup of tea, but it's
Absolutely.
cool.
There's a lot of different types of people in this scene, and it definitely stopped me from going to any circles or groups because I've always felt like I don't want my mind to be um, contaminated with someone else's rigid views, or I don't want a
That's so
pretentious person
important.
thinking
What you just
that
said is
they're
so
going to
important.
experience, right?
A lot of people can't even see that when you're in a group like that, you're gonna be whether you like it or not, you're gonna be conforming to whatever ideology is in that group. It's just how we are as people. Again, the psychology of it is when we're creatures of our surroundings pretty
Um,
much. It just happens. If I were to live in London, I'm sure I would start to sound like you with a British
yeah,
accent. It's just we're products of our environment. So that's so cool that
exactly.
you can understand that if you were in a group, you might be influenced. And that's what I always preach. I'm like, you don't want to influence people because that's why I always tell people I do this, but I'm not a fucking influencer because in magic, it's not good to be an influencer and to
I
make
agree.
people it's like manipulative because it's like we're the people in society that understand that. So it's bad to like it's almost like manipulative, like narcissistic. It gets really when
100%.
you understand it, you can is people can get really cynical with it real quick. And
Oh,
there are people that will take advantage of that for sure. So that's
mm-hmm.
cool that you identify that.
I mean, I do run my own circle, but I urge the people in it to say your way of reading and your way of getting signs and reading tarot even, it is your own. Like, and your spirituality and your faith is your own. We're all here with our own knowledge. Like, I'm a believer in that same we're all unique, but none of us are special. And I think knowledge is power and it's good to listen to people and keep an open mind, but be secure in yourself and protect your energy, like
Yeah.
overall.
I totally get you on that. I preach that all the time too. I'm at Purgatory Club. It's a podcast, but that's just kind of what the people outside of the club see. So it's like the front, but it's like
Mm,
people all around the world, and we're just kind of researching the paranormal and remote viewing and esoteric stuff and
I
just
love it.
everything. So anybody can join. It's not like a specific thing, and it's not like it looks like a coven or something like that, but it's not really that. It's just we all want answers and we're all just here trying to find the answers. Like we have a bunch of people from all over the world. It'll be interesting to see how this goes because I've been trying to film with a couple people from Australia for like the last year, but they're like a day and a half ahead of me. So I'm like,
That's the
it'll be
issue.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like,
No,
you're way over there. So this is fun.
yeah, it's great. I love it. Like, I feel like British people, we watch so many Americans online. So when I think of a podcast, I naturally think of an American host, and I was kind of joking about it with my friends.
hmm
Like, I think it's brilliant. It just seems more professional, weirdly. I don't, yeah,
I wonder why that
to
is
me,
because that's how we look at you guys. We look at you guys like
really
anything you guys do. It's just it seems so like
refined.
yeah, like refined,
I
like
think
good,
that
like you
a bit
guys
of a
have
shock
thought
coming
about
to
it.
England, especially where I'm from.
That's too funny. So, like, what? So you're a psychic. What do you? I was thinking about this, and it was just like, this is what I'm gonna ask you. What do you think the difference is between like a psychic and like a medium?
Oh, yeah, I get asked this all the time actually, being a psychic. So, mediums, they can receive messages from your loved ones, so people that have passed on the other side. Um, that's where you get those messages of this happened to them before they went, or I can smell a certain smell. It depends on what clairvoyancy they have. Whereas psychics, which is what I am, in layman's terms, I say I just know things, but in reality, it's a mix of clairvoyance.
I
So
was gonna ask
how I
because it sounds like a version of claircognizance. Like you just have this intuit, like you just have this knowledge
that's a part of
from
it.
but it might not be knowledge from spirit per se. It could be because I made a post about that recently. It was just like all ghosts aren't always the dead. So you could be getting a message from ghost, like somebody that lived and died and became
Or
a
your
ghost,
spirit
or it could be
guide.
something else.
Yeah. spirit guides,
That's
they
so
help me feel
interesting.
something.
Or your
But I
ancestors or anything, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But with my type of clairvoyance, it's that, but also there's a few other things. Like I might see visions, like I might see a person or a specific piece of nature that I've not even been to. I can get physical feelings. For example, when I read someone before, I kept feeling a stabbing pain in my stomach. I kept getting the words in my head, stabbing, stabbing, stabbing. So I asked her, this is really weird, but someone been stabbed in the stomach recently. And she looked really shocked and she was like, 2 days ago, my boyfriend got stabbed in the stomach. So I get things like that or a sharp feeling in my chest and I'll know that someone's got a heart condition, but emotionally as well is really heavy. So immediately when I tap in, I'll kind of touch my cards and zone out. And I'll feel exactly how someone's feeling in the specific way that they feel it. So, for example, I might pick up a card and feel really pissed off, but as if I've been disrespected, as if someone's doing something behind my back. I can also feel if they've bitten their tongue about it, like if they're holding it. But nature signs play a big part for me as well. Specific animals or things like that will fly by at a certain time. Just yesterday, there's some personal things that I'm going through. Um, and stag beetles are endangered in the UK. And I was walking down a main road, so cars were going past, there were no trees or anything like that, it was all just houses. And I see a stag beetle on the floor, and they represent that rebirth and harsh times because of their strong shell. So I get things like that all the time. My life's
Just
really
something that
weird.
you know for sure is a sign.
It feels different. I
Yeah.
don't. I try to be as logical as possible. I don't take everything as a sign because if not, I'd probably go crazy. And I urge people to do the same. But if something feels persistent or if something just feels so weird but in time with what you're going through, take the message of that sign if it resonates because it could help you.
Yeah, for sure. That's a really good message as well. When did you realize you could, like, was there a certain time in your life where you realized that you could identify the signs? Like, 'cause there was a time before I started this, I feel like I'm a totally normal person. Like, I don't have any natural abilities. But ever since I've been studying this and started my practice and all of these things, it's gotten, like, in my face every day, you know? And now
It will.
it never turns off. You know, I can't turn it off. There's no going back. You know, I always tell people once you
Yeah.
go black, you don't go back because
Yeah. I know
I
that
literally don't
feeling.
see a way of going back to that life that I was
Mhm.
doing before. Like there's no way. I never
That's
lived
so
in a haunted house
exciting.
and now there's 20 ghosts in here. It's like every single day. And they're not ghosts that died here either. They just come here because
Yeah.
I just kind of created this space like you can come
Mhm.
here and chill. Like I'm cool with that. Just
Mhm.
there's rules, you know. So was there a time in your life when that happened with you?
It's so funny, like Um, I've got loads of spiritual friends, and no, sorry, all of my friends are not spiritual. But since hanging around me and seeing all the weird things happen to them too, so similar to you. But I'd say the first times when I started acknowledging signs, it's weird because even though my family were never spiritual, in fact, a lot of them are actually Muslim, like what I do isn't good with their religion in a way. Um,
They're Muslim?
Really? Yeah, yeah, a lot of
Wow.
them. Yeah, like out of family, cousins, things like that. But when from a young age, like I'd always kind of talk to the stars and things like that. And I feel like my first proper sign, and it's the stupidest story ever, but I was probably about 7 or 8 years old, and I stayed at a caravan. I think you guys. Um, and there were these boys there that we'd started talking to. And when I was younger, I was always really awkward and like I wasn't the most fashionable. Like I always stuck to my own. And my other friend was super athletic and like really charming and funny and got along with everyone. But I had a crush on this boy And um, that night, I was sat on the bonnet of her mum's car, and my friend had gone to like have a shower. And I was just looking at the stars and talking to them as I did growing up. And I see what looks like a shooting star go across. And I kind of made a wish. I was like, I don't really believe in this, but am I going to make a wish? Obviously. So I made the wish of I hope that this boy asks me out at the pool tomorrow. That morning we go to the pool and he asked me out. We didn't speak again like after that holiday. So I wish I kind of was to win the lottery or
How old were
something.
you when
But
that happened again? Sorry, I don't know if I caught
I was
that.
about 7 years old, 7 or 8 years
Wow,
old.
so you that's
So
like magic. You put an intention out there and that shit happened, like, ASAP.
yeah, but it didn't make me automatically believe in everything. Like it's only the age where I'm at now, 25, where I am really starting to fully immerse and believe. I've always been one of those like believe it when you see it because there are so
Yeah,
many
me too.
delusional people within this community, unfortunately, and that's where a lot of skeptical people come from. Um, but yeah,
I
I've
used to be
always
the
had a
biggest skeptic. A couple years ago, yeah, that was me. I was that guy.
yeah,
The guy that you hate, the guy that
maybe,
yeah, I was that guy a couple years ago, and then I ended up making a
yeah,
couple paranormal investigator friends, like, I don't know if you watch, like, the YouTubers like Barrier Beyond or, like, Ghost Club Paranormal or just any of, like, the American scene, but I ended up just becoming friends with them.
I'm so sorry. Someone just tried to call me and I hung up and it paused
Oh, you're
everything
good, you're
again.
good. That'll happen. I put mine on Don't Disturb, but nobody calls my
Oh,
phone anyway, so
mm,
You okay, though?
sorry. You just text me. Yeah, it's only my mom asking if I'm having dinner.
Oh,
But
okay, you're good. It's not an emergency or nothing.
no, I was gonna say I forgot to tell her I was doing this. I'm quite private when it comes to my family. So,
Oh, yeah.
where were
That'll be an
we?
interesting question later. I was gonna ask how do they feel about that, but I was just saying, yeah, I was the biggest skeptic a couple years ago, and then I ended up, like, making friends with some investigators and whatnot, and then that led to me becoming friends with a couple mediums and a couple psychics and then a couple witches. And every
Wow.
step of the way, I was expecting to just look behind the curtain and see that it was bullshit, but no, it
Yeah,
wasn't. For every single thing, I'm just like, "Oh, shit."
there's
So,
something to this.
it's definitely interesting because if somebody as normal as me can do it, I think anybody can do it. That's why I liked
Yeah,
what you said earlier. I don't think anybody's special. Like, I think that too. Like, everybody can do it.
exactly. Like you was put here probably to make that platform for people and to question people and to explore. Like that's your gift when it comes to spirituality. And I think spirituality and witchcraft, all of these kind of things, it's so vast that I always think that there is something that you will connect to if you find it. Um, that will kind of bring you to that kind of source, whether it's a form of divination or whether it's your meditation practice or whatever it is that keeps you connected, is your thing.
I don't know, like, so I'm one of the weird ones. I think a lot of witches have, like, deities and stuff like that. I don't have any deities. Like, I do chaos magic and I do it's called death magic, so you're dealing with a lot of spirit that walk the earth. So they were people that were alive and then they died. That's why it's called death magic. So you're not just working with any kind of you're not just opening the door to anything. But
Mm.
since doing that, that's when all the ghosts started coming around, and that's what made me realize, "Oh, shit, yeah, ghosts are real." But then
Yeah.
a couple years ago, CE5 meditation came out, and I started doing that, and that's, like it's similar to death magic, but you're pointing it into the universe and getting that same contact that call and receive that you would with ghosts. Like, "Hey, is anybody here?" And then they knock twice or whatever. The same thing would happen, but with NHI, with, like, aliens or whatever you wanna call them, whatever's out there
Mm.
that got back to me. So, it's everything. I feel like everything is real because you can see for yourself that it works.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Like I've gotten to that point now as well where I'm just like, fuck it. Anything goes. If you think it's real, I love it. But
Yeah, it's
yeah.
crazy because I think anything that our minds can think of is possible. in some way or
Mhm.
in some way because I've only been doing this for a couple years now, and I don't know if you've ever played like poker or like any kind of game like that with like
Yeah.
mediums and witches. Like it's not fair. Like, and I
Oh,
live
I've
in Las
heard.
Vegas. Like, they all should move here. Like, there's
Yeah,
no
me as
way.
well.
I googled it one time. We were having poker night, and I was like, what's the odds of like somebody guessing exactly what's in your hand at a poker table? It's like 1 in 8 billion. Like, there's no way. And they were doing that every single game night. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then they showed me that I could do it. And then that's when the flip switched. I'm just like, okay, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And it was just they would tell me things like, okay, whenever you feel like the words are in your throat and you have that gut feeling to just say,
Mhm.
hey, I think you have an ace, a king, that's a king of hearts and a three of diamonds. And just you just have that gut feeling to just get it out, say it. And then sure enough, that happened with me and I guess whatever they had. And it was pretty cool to see. But
Yeah, that's such a big thing with all of this. Like, trusting your intuition, it only makes it stronger. Like,
that's
that's
what
what
it
I've
made me realize. That's exactly what it made me realize. Because before I'd never trusted it. I would always doubt it,
yeah. I mean, when I
go the opposite direction and be like, no, that can't be true.
most people do because where's the logic in that thought? Does there need to be? Your body's telling you, like, this is it. And there's no harm in saying something. Even if you start that off with, this might not be true, but something in my head's telling me this, and someone might confirm it for you. Doing those kind of practices around people who aren't going to mock you for getting something wrong, like, that's how you build your intuition and build that trust and security within yourself. And that opens so many doors for your life. Like, any jumps you want to take or decisions you need to make, like you can make them with so much more clarity over your emotion.
I think that's what faith is. When you put faith in something, it's just that undying, just you just gotta do it for whatever reason. And I put that back
Mhm.
into myself. Like I said, I don't have any deities. I don't worship a god or anything like that. I just put all that shit back into myself. And I just have the most amount of faith in myself that I can do whatever. And it works. Like you said, you just do it over and over and over. It
Honestly,
gets so much in your face that you just can't deny it anymore. You're just like, damn. I've
yeah,
even had
really.
it to be where like me and you're talking right now, right? I'm not dead. I'm not a ghost, but I can leave such an impression on the world that somebody else could take that as a ghost experience. Just, I don't know if that makes sense. Just like putting something out there in the world to where somebody
Your
else
energy
perceives it as a
realigned.
ghost. But I'm living. I'm right here.
Mm.
So
I think I understand what you mean. Almost as if your energy remains by what you've done, if that makes sense, like your footprint.
no, I mean literally like I've done it like across the world. I've done it from people in Texas and I'm in Nevada. I've done it at people in Australia. Like you're just connecting with somebody and then
Oh,
you're putting change, you're enacting change in the world from your energy. I'm not taking energy from a god or from anything else, just me and my magic. But that person would perceive it as a ghost. Like a book might get knocked off the shelf and they'd be like, "Oh, a ghost is here." You know?
oh, okay. I get what you're saying now. It's the same with how people appear in your dreams. I know.
Yeah, it's like an astral projection, but in real life.
Yeah, I completely get that.
It's so weird.
I know someone who used to be able to do things like that, and be able to describe to people exactly how their living room looked or something without ever seeing it. Which,
It's like remote
yeah,
viewing.
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I also do a lot of that too. So maybe that's what it is, remote viewing, but it's like
But
it's a
with
weird
more
version of remote
energy,
viewing.
yeah, it's more real, if that makes sense. Like a ghost, like you said,
Yeah,
where
like
the
that's how they would take it every time. They would be like, "Dude, now I started talking to you. Now I got fucking ghosts in my house." I'm like, "No, it's not ghosts. It's me." And they're like, "Oh
yeah.
shit!" And I would never have seen
Well,
their
I have to let
house,
you
but
know
I
if
could.
I'm getting anything like that.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's like you could do that and never have seen that person's house, never have gotten a clue or anything, but be able to describe exactly how they live, describe exactly what their house is, like to how many chairs they have in their living room. Like you can like it's a skill and it's like a muscle. You build it, you get really good at it. You can do some crazy things.
uh knowing about a certain thing that you've done, if that makes sense, or conversations you've had with people. Once you tap in, you just get flooded with it all. It's just crazy. And I
It
wish more
is.
people knew the power in that because it can help so many people. Um,
That's what I always hear the term disclosure. You ever hear the term when they want like aliens to the governments to just finally tell everybody aliens are here? Like they think that's disclosure. I think disclosure is when we all realize we all have superpowers. Like we and when the whole world realizes that we can all do this stuff. I think that's what disclosure is. It's like a worldwide spiritual awakening is happening right now.
I
And we're
agree.
all realizing we can all do it.
Yeah,
And like you
there
said,
is.
I think everybody has different types of clairvoyancy
Mm,
because it shows up differently for different people. Like if you just
totally.
test it on different people, it always shows up differently for different people.
Yeah, like whether that's in your dream or a premonition that you get or
I don't
having
dream.
any.
I
Oh,
don't I
really?
smoke weed, so I don't dream. Like I smoke a lot of weed. I think that's
Mm.
why I don't dream, but I dream
Yeah,
maybe once every 5 to 10 years, and when I do have a dream, I take it as like something I need to do, like a message.
that's good. At least they're intentional. But yeah, the weed will definitely do it. But I've heard that we dream every night, whether we remember it or not. I'm not sure how true that is, but I remember reading that years ago, and I was like, maybe there's something to that.
Mhm.
I never actually believed in prophetic dreams until maybe last year or the year before. But then looking back on past dreams that I've had, they were definitely signs. Um, it's pretty crazy, and now I get dreams like that with messages in like quite frequently when it calls for it.
That's cool. So why do you prefer tarot over like oracle?
Oh, I use both. So
Oh, okay.
for me, I feel like tarot is a bit more in depth. So they're in your typical Rider
That's what it
Waite
feels
deck,
like.
78 cards to a deck, and they have so many different types of avenues you can go down, whether it's about mindsets or actions or things that you're doing or thinking of, like whatever it is. Um, and when I read tarot, I read it intuitively, so I'm not reading it like some tarot readers would, where they just look at the card's meaning and it's very vague. I have a mix of both. Um, but with Oracle, I find that for me, it's more uh, softer messages of guidance, more so than making predictions and things like that. I always pull oracle cards at the end of every reading that I give because I find that once I do the reading, that oracle card will sum up the entire reading, whichever one's pulled. It always relates to everything that's said and sums it
It'll be
up.
like the overview at the end.
Yeah, it's really good. And it also gives my clients that little bit of extra, oh wow, I definitely need to listen to this guidance because it's even come out in the oracle card at the end as well.
That makes sense. What advice would and I don't do tarot. I do other I mean, it's cool. I don't have anything against it.
It's
I
not
just don't
for
have any decks. Like
everyone.
it's just I other forms of I like to use myself as the divination. Just
Yeah,
I feel like it's a trust thing. So with my practice
yeah.
with witch, it's like has a lot to do with trust. I feel like
Mhm.
it's that's why I asked about the difference between like psychics and mediums earlier because I feel like mediumship is like it's almost like voluntary possession. It's like a trust thing. You're trusting spirit to work through you and give you the answers without hurting you, and vice
Yeah,
versa. So like with my practice, it has to do with a lot of trust. But
yeah,
what advice would you give somebody that does tarot that is like trying to figure it out and like trying to discern do I use my intuition to tell them what I think what they should do? Because I like going to people that do it like that, if that makes sense. The people that will tell
mm,
me what their intuition is versus something else's intuition. Like what's written on like a book or something. I'm sure you see that all the time.
for people who are getting into tarot, put down the guidebook. Hold your cards, whichever one comes up. Look at it. Notice, what do you feel? Are there any specific symbols that you're noticed into? Any colors? Any words if you have words on your deck? Go by that. Practice with someone who you might not necessarily know. That's why, like my circle, I pair people off together and they're strangers, but it's a safe space where people can practice. You need someone who's not going to judge you. Don't charge for that reading. Say, this is for me, but can I practice on you if you want a free reading? And just go from there. Just don't hold back. Just look. It doesn't matter how much time you take, feel, and just let it happen. Don't clutch to that guidebook. If you want to after, pick up the book and see if what you said resonated, like fact checking, but don't take it as gospel. It does come from you. Just like you say, Randy, like I always say the same for myself. Like all my spirituality and my beliefs and my strength, my empowerment, it comes from me.
That's so important. Like I just wish everybody, it doesn't matter what faith you have. If you're a Christian and you love
Mhm.
Jesus, still just know that you have the power in you. It doesn't matter if you're
Yeah,
Buddhist or whatever. Like it
yeah,
doesn't it goes for across the board. Like 2 guests ago I had on a Jewish lady and she was so cool and she even realized it. She does a different faith than I do, completely different, but she
mm,
still had that commonality. She understood that she has superpowers and she could make shit happen whenever she wants. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, it's a commonality across the world.
yeah. I agree. Like the God within, like that God energy, like it's so important to honor that because if you're living by, it goes back to what we are saying about living by other people's rules within witchcraft or um anything like this. It's like if you're living by just the rules of your one God and that Bible, I mean, I kind of think there's a difference between faith and religion. Like, to me, religion is a man made product that induces fear into the society a lot of the time. But the pure faith of that God, like the true gospel and the teachings, that's what you should be taking and applying it to your life to grow as it resonates. I
And there
take
is a
on
lot
many
of good
different.
and a lot of those religious texts. Like I came from Catholicism. You can
Yeah,
take so much good from that faith
exactly.
and put it into what you're doing now. It doesn't have to be called that. It's just you can still be like, this is the good or what I perceive as good. Cause I don't think things are good and bad. I think everything just
Mm,
is. And if I perceive it as bad, then I'm gonna take it as bad. If I perceive it as good, I'm gonna take it as good. But I'm never gonna let somebody else tell me what's good and bad. I think that's fucking
yeah.
crazy. But I think
Uh-huh.
that's exactly what religion has done over the thousands of years. And that's why so
Mhm.
many people look at people like you and me and think ghost bad, spirit bad. You should hear how
Yeah,
often I
like
hear
you
people
look
give
into
advice on ghosts and they say, "Oh, if spirit comes to you, you get in a fetal position, you throw your hands up and you say, I repent, you like you just I'm just like,
oh, stop
why?
it.
Who traumatized you? I'm
Yeah,
just like, why are you like this? It's never that like serious. That could be your grandma coming to you trying to comfort you and you're just like
I
giving
know.
her a fuck you pretty much. It's crazy. I'm just like it's a lot of
Yeah,
unlearning is what I had to do to get here and I'm just like now like I said, I can't go back. Now I'm in the driver's seat. Now it's just you take all of the good from the world and you make that into your good.
yeah, absolutely. I think if it feels right and it's good for your cause and you're not harming anybody, I think like go at it. But I agree. I take from so many different faiths, like Buddhism, paganism, like ancient Egypt is like another one. What you got? Oh, Buddha,
Yeah.
lovely. I want to get a Om symbol tattooed, but tattoos are expensive.
That was one of
Um,
the first ones. I used to be in the military, and that's when I found
oh
Jesus.
really?
But then I
Oh
was in the
wow.
military, and I was just like, let me study Buddhism too. Let me study. Just started getting curious about all the other ones because you're around different people. I'm around different
Yeah,
people that I would have never met. So
and I can
yeah.
imagine in the military, people are really holding to their faith in those times, which is so dangerous and so uncertain, like for a lot of people. Um, yeah, so you probably would hear a lot about people's faiths as well.
hmm And it was interesting. That's when I found it, and I never was that kind of person. I grew up
Yeah,
Catholic, but I was never like super gung ho about Catholics. But then
yeah,
I got
yeah,
older, I became an adult, and that's when I kind of refound it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. So
mm,
I think everybody's religion is valid. I think anybody can practice whatever they want to practice, of
I
course. Just
agree. I agree. I feel like I get a lot more hate from particularly Christians, like more so than other religions. And I always kind of respect them and their religion. Like I remember when I was younger, I've always been into religion, but I wasn't religious. So I'd read the Bible and things like that. Like I love to know these things. And I think that as humans, none of us truly know the answer to anything. So we need to stop fighting over religion, like in my opinion.
yeah, that's
Or
you
maybe
said
that's
it.
a
You
bit
said it
extreme.
really good earlier. You said it was a man-made thing. And that's
Yeah.
I think if people understood like the underlying tone of that, like it being a man-made thing meaning it will live and die on this plane, like on this earth. I don't live my life for this earth. I live my life for the next one. I don't like you said, none of us knows what that means. I just try to be good for whatever it may mean.
Exactly. Like religion's been tampered so much. It's unpure now. And you see that reaching into witchcraft and spirituality with the rise of witch talk and things like that. Everyone thinks they know all the answers because they're new to it, and you get that
I
surge of
can't
ego
stand
when
witch
you
talk,
first,
by the way.
honestly, when you first start getting that power, like when you start realizing like this, but they can take it away. Like I've learned very quickly not to have ego within any of this because like you don't know everything for starters. It doesn't matter how many books you read or how you feel. That's just your perspective and your gift. And secondly, it's like I found people, and I've met a lot of mediums who've experienced the same, where they felt too overly confident before going into a reading or doing platform mediumship on stage, that when they get there, they're just completely blocked off and nothing will come to them. So that ego, as it's mentioned in a lot of faiths, is like a low vibrational energy. And I think a lot of witches need to realize that if they want
And
themselves to
that's the
actually
irony
be.
of witchcraft, it being so prevalent in witchcraft because that was when you're doing like you said, there is no right way to do it, right? But the
Yeah.
way that I did it was I went back to the roots of chaos magic and tried to understand why they practiced back then and then compare it and contrast that with why I practice these days. But like you said, the ego part being such a big part in it is so funny to me because that was such a huge part in why. Because like you said, that's the ego is it's what makes or breaks people, and that was like one of the biggest lessons I had when I started this. Because
Yeah.
started this thing, and then now before I know it, everybody's looking at me like I'm this fucking leader, like I got all the answers, and I'm like, dude,
Mhm.
out of everybody in the group, I got the least experience. I just started like a couple of months ago. We got people in the group that
Yeah.
have been doing it for 20 years, and everybody's looking at me for the answers and shit. I'm like, so I had that lesson real early on, and I'm glad I did because I see it all the time. It does make and break people, and it can
Yeah.
make people crazy.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen quite a few cases of spiritual psychosis. Even where I go to like spiritual fairs and things like this, I've exchanged readings with a woman before. I'll give this example. We sat in front of each other and she was supposedly a psychic medium before. I want you to know it's not your fault. And I was like, in my head, I was like, I know it's not my fault that I grew up in an abusive household. And then afterwards, she said, Spirit has a message for you, but I can't tell you what it is. They don't want me to tell you. A week later, she messaged me from like a mental hospital. And when I had that reading, I felt it was so vague. And like,
Did she pick
you
up
you need to
on
be careful with.
whatever you went through though?
No, I
I
basically told
see
her.
that a
I
lot
cry
though,
every
the
time I get a
vagueness. I'm
reading.
just like, yeah. You can tell
Well,
when it's super vague. I'm just like, this could be for me or it could be for anybody. Like some when
yeah.
they say specifically things like that, like, oh, I know you've been hurt. Like everybody's been fucking hurt. Like, what do you
Yeah,
expect?
exactly. I never say that, and I'll never approach you to try and read you, even if I feel it like that I want to. I'm so stubborn and so proud of my readings because there are so many skeptics that if I feel like I'm saying something vague, I will keep pulling or I'll keep tapping in until I get more information. I won't ever leave you with anything unanswered. And if I really feel like I can't read you, I'll always be honest about that. I think it's so important
I think
to,
that's the difference. Like somebody like me, I don't get reading. I don't ever get readings because I think
yeah,
it's like an energy exchange. And I think it's
yeah,
irresponsible to
it
just give that
definitely
out
is.
to anybody and just do it all the
Mm,
time and just like because when I talk like I the few people that I do talk to, it's very draining. It's just super it's a lot of energy shit going on. So I couldn't imagine doing that with a lot of people like that. So I personally I don't get readings,
mm.
but you can always tell
Yeah,
when you're talking to somebody and a reading's going on. So I'm just like, what are you gonna do? You gonna ride the wave, or you just gonna like stop it, or you just
yeah, it's certainly an energy exchange. Like, some days I'll read 10 people in a row. I remember the longest I've done is about 8 hours of reading in a row. There was a constant line, which I don't recommend. I threw up afterwards, but that's because the energy that it takes from you is crazy, especially reading how I read. I physically feel people's emotions. I might pick up a card and I'll start crying, or I'll feel like I'm being choked. Or the next one, I'll feel really in love, and then the next, I'll feel like I've just lost somebody. Like, it's definitely an exchange, and protection is so important. Just because you can't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. And I learned that the hard way. Like, definitely made a few friends along the way when I
mm-mm.
wasn't spiritually ready.
Yeah. Is your house haunted? I meant to ask you that earlier.
So I don't think it's so much my house is haunted, but I think like you, I've let in a lot of energies. Um, and when I started doing this full time, I would never protect myself before. I'm just very fucking lazy as a person, if I'm honest. And I would go and read someone who had particularly bad energy. Um, and I'd come home, and as I said, my friends, they're not spiritual. My partner isn't spiritual. But they'd wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning every night to the feeling of being watched in my room. Or I would have dreams and I'd wake up halfway through in the night and I'd just see someone stood there in front of me. So I'd just say, fuck off, I'm dealing with you in the
Yeah.
morning, and I turn back around.
So how do you turn
I
that
don't think
off?
it's 100%. So now I know to protect myself. For me, it's cleansing when I feel like I walk into my room. Sometimes it just feels like there's someone in there and it doesn't feel right, other than the normal energies that are in my room, like from my altar.
Do you just not
Um,
like being around other spirit though? Because I feel like I go
no,
through a
I
lot of I'm
do.
hearing what you're saying, and I deal with a lot of the same things in my house, but I don't look at it like I know I see spirits walking around sometimes, and my hair used to be super long, so I used to think it was my hair getting in my face and shit like that, and now I'm just like, "No, I saw you
You're
that
getting the
time."
right.
It just gets to a point
Mhm.
where they're standing right in front of you, just like and then you would expect for them to walk around the corner and leave, but no, they stay, and they kinda, like, call your bluff. They're like, "I see you, see me, see you." So it's one of those things that happens all the time now, and it's just like, "I see you," and it's just
Yeah.
weird, so I'm like that's why I asked, "How do you turn that off?" Because I don't wanna turn it off, but I also know other people notice it when they come over too.
Well, here's the thing. I never truly turn it off. It doesn't bother me, spirits being around me. And most of the time I speak to them, like I'm constantly talking to myself, constantly like looking for signs and things like that, like noticing things. Say if there's something that just doesn't feel nice that I know has come from either someone that I've read is negative or just a bad kind of area I've been to, that's when I'll just kind of like cleanse and be like, right, you need to fuck off now. But most of the time they're just normal spirits or like happy
Right,
spirits
it's
and
just they're
you
just
can
here,
do
it's
that.
just like roommates, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm the
I
same
feel
way,
like
but I always just discern like, okay, does it feel bad to me? You know, that's just like it doesn't matter if it feels if somebody told me that a demon walked in here and their energy felt pleasant, I'm not scared of this demon that just walked in here or whatever, you know,
yeah,
because I'm not gonna listen to what whoever else, I'm gonna listen to myself. So if it feels
absolutely.
like that, I'm just gonna keep going with it.
It's good that you're the same as me in that sense. Like you will trust your intuition and your own self above all, and I think more people need to do that. Um, but
I
I
think if
think
anybody takes anything away from this show, that's super important. Just
mhm,
trust yourself, and it's gonna be one of those things that's trial and error. You're gonna trust yourself one day and then not trust yourself the next. But if you can
yeah,
consistently just put yourself first, fuck yeah, find your superpower
yeah,
because
and
it's in there. It's in everybody.
you can start it so innocently as well, like just predicting little things, like you said, with when you've done poker with the mediums, like guessing what cards people have, seeing if you're right. Um, and I think just doing innocent things like that will slowly build up your sense
Sorry,
of intuition yourself, and then you can tackle the bigger things. That's all right. Mm.
sorry. What was that last part?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I
I
think you can
disassociated for a whole like 30 seconds. I'm sorry.
honestly, before I came on here, I noticed myself doing the same, like anxiety. And I was
Yeah,
like, fuck, snap out of it. But I was just saying, like, you can start training your intuition so innocently as well, simply by doing things like what you said with your friends who are mediums that you'll play poker with, just trying to guess what people's cards are before they lay it down. And you don't even need to tell anybody, you can just clarify with yourself, oh, that was right. And then it goes into bigger things like that. So you don't need to think, oh, I need to be able to read your mind. It's not like that. Trust your intuition in your day to day life. Is this person dodgy? Should I fuck with them? No? Okay, let me trust that and follow through with that. It's got me out of a lot of shit.
exactly. And I love that you said it like that because it's not like a party trick. People always ask, like, it's like a party trick. I'm like, no, it's not like something that you're gonna have like an end to. Like you're gonna figure out. It's like even me when I do it, like I don't even know what to call it. I don't know if I should call it remote viewing. I don't even know if there's been a
Mm,
word invented for what it's called yet. I just know that once
yeah,
you trust yourself and you tap in with yourself, you can do some amazing things. So, like you
yeah,
said, you can do it super innocently. You don't have to turn goth and be like you don't got to live this life if you don't want to. But it's cool
yeah,
when you do. It's just I think even being goth is just embracing yourself unapologetically and just being who you are all the time, 365, not when it's
yeah.
convenient for you all the time. I live this shit
hmm
365.
Yeah, I've always kind of dressed this way. And a lot of people, they try to link how I dress with what I do. And my birthday's on Halloween as well.
Oh, see that you
Um,
have the cool
so
birthday. Yeah.
exactly. I'm like, I kind of
But
have
I don't
to
even
do
think
it
it's
because
just
I'm
how
like,
you dress. I think it's how you live, honestly. I think
yeah,
you
exactly. Like I
live
try
this
to be
certain way
comfortable.
is what goth is. I don't think it's just how you dress. I think that's how people see you,
Yeah.
you know? But perception
hmm
is reality. And I don't think like quantum
For
physics
me,
says, like haunted therapist, she said, like things don't exist until we perceive them. So like if perception is reality, you are portraying your reality. You are portraying exactly who you are. You are living your truth. I think that's exactly what goth is. I don't think it's just wearing black.
yeah, no. And I'd say for me, when it comes to dress sense in particular, like as much as I do align with the music and everything else, the color black is such a deep and homely color to me. It's protective, it's calm, it's everything in a way. Like I don't know how to describe my connection to this color. It's so bold and passionate and just it's wise. I don't know how to describe it. So I think everyone's got their own
It's
reason for it, but
timeless.
I've always dressed how I felt. Yeah. I've never dressed how I haven't uh felt in a way. It just doesn't feel right for me. And I feel like having confidence, not just in your intuition, but within yourself. That security is so important to your craft. Um, I think knowing who you are and holding space for yourself, I know we hear that a lot, but it's something I'm really learning now as I battle more parts of my anxiety whilst being in this. It's crazy important because nobody's going to tell you that you're doing the right thing. Nobody's going to validate you, or it's the same with anyone who's become an influencer or is a celebrity. No one's told them, right, that's what you're doing, you've been promoted. You've believed in yourself and you've done that. Who are you? What is your brand in a sense? Like, I hate that kind of term, but it's like express yourself, be authentic.
It's exactly that, and I think it's that authentic side of yourself that you can't, like, how can you be yourself if you're always lying to yourself? I always tell people that. If you're
Yeah,
always lying to yourself,
exactly.
nobody's gonna believe in you unless you believe in yourself first. So that's just,
Yeah,
there's so many different benefits of just trusting yourself and putting yourself first and being a big believer, being your biggest fan. Like, I'm obsessed with myself. I love who I am. I love the person that I am. Like, I love this shit. And I'll be the first to
good.
admit I'm my biggest fan. I'll watch my story a million times, and I don't give a fuck
Yeah,
who
me
else
too.
watches it. You know what I mean?
hmm Hey, my post for me. If you've seen it, that's fine. My
Exactly.
post for me predominantly. My little one-line diary. I hate it when people look at my content or anything like that in front of me. Hate it. It doesn't exist. But for me, yeah, I like it. Its
It's
own little
cool.
world.
It's cool. You can tell when people are being themselves, and I love watching your story and your posts. Your stuff is pretty
Oh,
cool.
thank you.
And I put it
Yeah,
in the
thank
description
you.
already, so people should definitely go and follow you at Psychic Jade.
Under, yeah, that's me. Join my circle if you want to raise your intuition.
Yeah, I love that. I
Mm.
think that's so cool. I'm seeing like this shift nowadays that I didn't see 10 years ago, where a lot more people were getting in tune with their intuition.
Yes, there is a universal shift happening, and it's really funny because I studied a diploma for the Akashic Records, and there was a case study within that of when someone else went into their records, and it told of all of this universal shift in cryptic, but and this was from a while ago. I wrote it all down because I felt like there was something to this script. Years later, everything started to happen, and everyone around me was awakening in a way that had been described within this text. And I just thought that in the world right now, the way I see it is like yin yang. I'm a great believer in balance. For all the shit that's happening, there's got to be a wave of people waking up, wanting peace, wanting to critically think, trusting their intuition. So there's balance in everything.
I don't think it'll happen in our lifetimes, but maybe in the next 1,000 years or
Yeah.
whatever. But I think it'll eventually get to a point where every person on this planet will be spiritually in tune to where there is like that ego isn't there. Like, people don't care what other people think. We're not doing things for other people. I think that's what ego is doing things to please others because you want them to want to
Yeah.
like you. So you're putting out this false image of people to so that they can like you and so that you can come off as cool or whatever. It's the most unauthentic
hmm
thing to do. But I think 1,000 years in the
Agreed.
future, maybe whenever it's going to be, it'll get to a point where everybody is spiritually in tune, and we don't put value in things like that. We put value in living our life for the next, you know, putting it back
I,
into ourselves, into our consciousness, instead of into
mhm,
like physical things that don't mean anything, like likes and follows and shit like that.
I agree. Like you've probably learned whilst doing psychology yourself that there's this either the need to be right or the need to be liked. And I just feel like that speaks numbers. Like they did a study on it, where they put a bunch of people into a room and there was a projector on the wall and they were showing a bunch of different lines. So one was clearly much taller than the others, and the others were shorter. And they had a few uh, test people in there who knew that it was a test. And those people said that the shortest stick was the longest one. And the amount of normal people within that test that followed them because I was like, everyone else is saying that, maybe I'm missing something. It really shows how
Sheep.
easily conditioned people are.
Yeah, like I
Yeah,
was saying at the
complete
beginning, there are
sheep.
followers and there are leaders. Like you can do any you can test that a million times and a million times it'll come back. Yeah, there are fucking people that are NPCs out there. I saw a recent study, it said like 40% of Americans don't have internal dialogue. So that means like almost half of our population here doesn't have nothing going on up
Oh my
there.
god.
I have too much going on up there. I have a couple voices in there.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy because my best friend, she used to be the same. Nothing going on up there
A
until
lot
a
of
few
people are
years ago.
like
Now
that,
she's
and
like
those
so
people tend to be
into
followers just
media.
because they don't have the I don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
that's it.
But there are so many studies on that. I look into this shit because it's
Yeah,
important. Like
I need
I'm
to.
glad you're not an NPC because it happens. People
Wouldn't
might
be a
come on
thing.
here and they're a fucking NPC. I'm just like, come on, man, think. But
Really? No, I'm way too stubborn. Way too stubborn. I mean, I don't know if you are into astrology or anything. I hate to be one of those people, but I've got four Scorpio placements. Honestly, it makes so much sense. It's been quite a recent thing for me as well. I've always found it was interesting, but noticing the patterns. But I'm something called a stellium. It's where you have, I think, more than two of the same sign in your chart. It basically means you're extra concentrated in that. I've got four Scorpio and four Sagittarius, and Sagittarius are known for being very free spirited. I'll do what I want. Scorpios are ruled by death. They're all about that rebirth, and they have that stubbornness, but they're incredibly passionate and loyal. So
so
I'm
you're a
never going to be a
Scorpio.
follower. It's written in the stars. Yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
Okay, that's cool.
What
I'm a
are you?
Cancer.
Oh my God, I was working with a Cancer
Emotional as
today, and
fuck
I
for no
love
reason.
me too, me too. As much as I try to be resilient, like I'm crying at the same time, but I'll fight with logic.
Yeah, it's bad, but it like you said, it's interesting because it proves itself every time, and like
Yeah, I love it.
you can see it happen every single time. And I've been learning about it recently because I have friends that are really into it and they do the astrology and they tell me like the other day we had a blue moon and
Yeah,
I'm just
blue moon
like,
and
well, what the hell? And then every other instance, so now I pay attention to that stuff and it's cool.
hmm It's funny you mentioned the blue moon because with that, I've noticed in the people that I've been reading lately, there's always a pattern. Like I'll read multiple people in a day, and there's always a pattern within the reading. And lately, it's been either physical deaths, breaking up of relationships, moving houses, quitting jobs to follow your dreams. All since this blue moon, it's been major, major life changes. And I find whenever there is something astrologically going on, I can connect the dots within my readings and think, wow, like this is a day where everyone's going through major shit. So it shows that
It's
there are
crazy.
collectives.
It
I love
is. I
it.
even see the same thing with the podcast. Like before, I might have recorded one of these once every 4 months, but literally just in the last, we had 2 full moons this last month, and I just so happened to record 6 episodes
Yes,
in the last month alone.
the growth lately has been insane. I mean, even getting on here with you, when I messaged you, it's because I went to have a nap. I was watching a podcast as I fell asleep. And as I was about to fall asleep, I was like, I need to reach out to some cool podcast people. I wake up from my nap and I shit you not, Purgatory Club started following you. And you liked one of the videos specifically where I'm just talking to the camera. I was like, right, let me message them. And then you was like, yeah, let's have you on. And then since then, another podcast has followed me. So I feel like the energy lately is
And
definitely
I
not
can
a
tell
good
you about
time. So
all the
I'm
good ones. If
noticing.
you want to go on like a podcast tour, all my friends, I can tell you about all the good ones.
I'd love that. I need to try and do this shit and help ease my anxiety.
You
Um,
should. It'll be
it's only
fun
gonna
because
help
I've had
me.
other friends do it, and they're like, "Oh my god!" Like I've had like author friends come on the show, and after the show, they sold 100 books. I'm just like making that little bit of change in somebody's life is it's so cool to me. So
I'm so happy for
definitely,
them. That is what you're here to do, to spread a light on those who have knowledge. Like that is your platform. I love that.
yeah, because I think getting knowledge from things like this is so much cooler than just reading it in a book because everybody's watching podcasts these days,
Yeah.
so I think that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to go with the times. Like, I love to read and I gain so much wisdom from books, but I think hearing from everyday people's experiences, you can learn so much. I think a lot of the books can be a bit copy and paste, but there are some that are so valuable. There's a book called The Celestine Prophecy, and if you haven't read it, you need to. It's the only book that I'll ever fully recommend with my hand on my heart. It's great.
That's good. I think I'll actually link that in the description after this too, 'cause that's a really good book, actually.
Life changing. Have you read it?
Mhm. I have, yeah.
Oh my God. How amazing is it?
It's
It's
good.
so
It's
good.
really good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been trying to
it's
get a good grasp on this for a little while. I love the books. I have a lot of them like digitally, but I want to start getting a lot more physical ones.
yeah.
Start building a little
I
library
wanted
here.
to, you should. I wanted to ask as well, when you read A Celestine Prophecy, and I've noticed this as a pattern between people that have read it, did you find that the lessons presented in that book were happening to you as you were reading the book?
Yeah. It felt like what I'm going through right now in
Everyone,
college, but it was just like everything that I'm
yeah,
looking at in the book, you can literally the same day or like the next day put that right into
yeah.
use into your life.
That book has fucking magic, I swear. Like, when I read it, it was the same for me. Everything, all the lessons were flowing in. Same with my boyfriend, like, he read it and all the same. Everyone I know who's read it has felt that.
It's definitely one of
So
those books
that's
that
why
everybody should read.
I agree. Yeah.
You know that list, the 100 books that everybody should read? It should be on there.
Oh, I agree. It's probably not on that list because of how powerful it is and how much awareness, like self-awareness people can bring, or like awareness to the archetypes of people, like the woe is me and those kind of things. Like,
But it's
it can
important.
do so much,
It's not like a
so much.
self-help book. It's helping you get to understand yourself and understand the people around you, but it's just
Yeah.
like it's not like a typical self-help book.
No, it's a fiction book. It's like based on a guy who's going on this adventure to find these manuscripts. And along the way, he runs into these monks or people that are trying to kill him. So, if you want, if you like an adventure book, but you're also quite spiritual, like reading that, or even if you're not spiritual, it's just a good read anyway. But there's so much wisdom in that book. It's incredible,
It's powerful.
powerful. Mhm.
Yeah. So what do you have? Do you have anything like coming up? You were just at a fair recently.
Yeah, so I was recently it was just a little family fun day, but this weekend I'm going to be at Chelmsford Racecourse, which is in Essex, and they've got like one of the biggest spiritual events. It's called Life Arts. It's been running for about 2 decades, and they're really, I'm so grateful to get in. They're really particular about the readers they let in. Um, I've never had to do this before, but I was literally interviewed by a psychic examinator before I got in. So out of all those people, but come down because I know some of the readers that read there anyway. Obviously, you can't. You live in a different country, but it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be good. I'm always traveling the country doing what I do. Like I've literally hitchhiked home before. I'm barefoot in the grass most of the time. Like I look how I look, but I'm just a massive hippie. Like if you want to call it that, for a switch.
That's cool though. I think people see that and they see that you live what you look like. It's different. It's not like I see a lot of people and it's just like an aesthetic thing, right? But you, like you said, you live
Yeah,
this shit all the time. So it's that's why I say goth isn't just what you wear. It's
it's
perception is
who you are.
reality and reality isn't a thing until we perceive it. So you are putting out there
Well,
exactly
that's
who
the
you are. And I think that's
believers.
cool. It's authentic.
You gotta try. You gotta try. Because I think if we're unaligned with our authenticity, then we can't give to the world or to the people in it what we're supposed to give. And that's how shit starts getting fucked up for you. Because if you're unaligned, you're gonna feel unfulfilled. Um, but yeah, those who are on the authentic path, I feel like you feel so much more fulfilled and like the path is clear 90% of the time, especially if you're intuitive as well. Like it's a given.
Yeah, because I think it takes a lot of energy too. When you ever watch X-Men?
Yeah. I used to pretend to be Wolverine when I was a kid. I wouldn't cut my nails and I go around scratching.
You know the blue girl on there on X-Men?
Yeah, yeah.
They made a joke one time, like, they were like, "If you just stop pretending and putting on, like, a face," and she would turn into, like, Jessica Alba or somebody, and she would turn back into the blue girl, and she would have 100% of her power just because she wasn't pretending anymore. I think that's super good
Yeah.
metaphor for life. Just don't pretend and just be yourself, and you get to have
Exactly.
100% of your power.
Yeah, and it's so interesting saying about that mask, like taking it on and off. I feel like being a psychic, this is something that I teach as well. It's discerning your self from your kind of like psychic self in a sense. Because I feel like when I tap into a reading, if before a reading I'm really upset about something or I'm really anxious, as soon as someone sat down in front of me, as soon as I touch a card, it's like something takes over me. I'm no longer myself. I don't feel that pain. I feel whatever they're feeling. There are no other thoughts. So I feel like it's similar to what you said, like she transforms and comes into like her power in a sense. Because Jade normally she's not like psychic Jade. Sounds like I've got multiple personalities, but it's genuinely how it feels. And I teach people within my circle how to discern that. Because I think if you can't discern that, that's where you get a lot of information wrong, and that's where you stop trusting your intuition.
Exactly, and discernment, I love that you said that because discernment is so important. It's just being able to just tell the difference, just not for nobody else but yourself, just so that you can make things make
Yeah,
sense perfectly in your mind. Just make it make sense for you. Like, it doesn't have to make sense for anybody else in
absolutely.
that time. It's just for you in that moment, you need to know what's going on, and you're taking the steps to do that. That's so important for someone like you, a psychic that's doing readings. Like, that's so good that you did that
Yeah,
because you'd be surprised. There are a lot of people that just won't even pay that any mind, like think to discern things and make
think
things
about
make sense. They just go like, whatever comes to me comes to me. Like, no, make it make sense.
no, I'm really I think I've analyzed a lot of what it takes to be a psychic and how I work and what kind of comes to me and how things are supposed to feel. Obviously, it's different for everyone, but I think again that's where a lot of ego comes in to spirituality when people think, oh, it's just me and I'm like constantly powerful. No, you're tapping in either through spirit or to an energetic kind of force. And you need to realize that and you need to realize when it's your thoughts or not. So I'm really passionate about loyalty within relationships. I'm lucky I've never been cheated on, but I grew up my whole life watching it happen to my mom.
Lucky you.
I'll sit
It
in front.
sucks.
I know. Yeah, it's horrible. Feel like you might relate. But I will read someone and that situation will come up and myself, I want to say, leave him immediately. Fuck that bitch. You should respect yourself. But before I say that, I go, I think I know what the answer is going to be. So I'm going to shuffle my cards and ask anyway about this person, about their intentions, because you've come to me for advice that isn't my own. If you wanted shitty advice, like go to your friend. Friends can give great advice, but a lot of the time
They're
it's
yes men. They're
manipulative.
gonna tell you what you want to hear.
They're bad.
Mhm.
Don't go by what you think's right. Go by what you're channeling in because there's a reason for everything. And as much as you can see into the future, you can't see into it without tapping into it. So take the info as it comes and find out why rather than just assuming that it's wrong because it doesn't make sense to you because you would never stay with someone who cheated.
Yeah, and your bias in that is super important as well. Just being able, like you said, discern whether it's your bias, whether it's making you, it's invoking some
Yeah.
emotion in you that's saying, yeah, fuck that girl. Do better for yourself, guy. And then just telling him that, or telling him like you said, just going with what the cards say. That's super important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important, like to let your messages be pure. Um, Afterwards, you can say, yeah, if I was you, though, like taken away from what the cards are saying, but if I was you, fuck
Yeah.
him, you deserve
But
better.
that's okay. I would much
But
rather somebody give it to me like that, be like, okay, this is what straight up the cards told me, and then this is what I would tell you after the fact. That's keeping it real. That's
yeah,
me not being a yes man. That's just me being like, yeah, this is fucked up.
yeah. That's that is how I live within my reading. So I feel like there are different types of readers, and I feel like each of them are valuable to people. I am a no bullshit reader. To me, you've come here for the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. I think if you know the type of person that you're sat in front of, and you should if you're a psychic, then you'll know exactly how to deliver that message, whether it needs to be more with empathy or for me, most of the time, it's just this is what it is. And I know that's painful, but you need to see from a higher perspective. But not everyone does that. I've had people question within my circle before. I kind of ignore some messages that come up because I'm scared to give it. I don't want to upset them. And I'm like, the whole point of shadow work, the only way out is through, and you've got to feel that pain. Any energy work,
There's no
energy needs to
shortcut. I tell
pass.
people that all the time. They think there's this shortcut or this
Yeah,
like magical just way to just get around it without actually doing the work. I'm like, no, that's the work. You are identifying exactly what the
absolutely.
work is. Now do it. You can't go around it though. You got
As
to go
much
through
as
it.
ignorance is bliss, exactly. As much as ignorance is bliss, like after a certain point, it's not helpful. Use it to protect yourself for a short time. For example, if you're already in that situation, you're in an abusive relationship or something, having some form of ignorance just so you can stay logical and build a plan around that is
For
going to be
sure. Keep your
helpful if
sanity.
you feel like you can't afford to leave straight away. Like, you got to know how to time it right, but don't allow yourself to stay delusional throughout the whole process because then you're going to be stagnant. And it's so scary to stay in the same place when you're not in the right
And you know how
place.
often that happens. It happens all the time.
It's
It's
my
like
job to get these
it's almost
people
like
out.
complacent. They get complacent in what's happening and they
Yeah,
say, I don't know what they say, but it's like a form of complacency. It's just like the
I
work is right there.
we're
We can
so,
get through it. It's not going to be easy. It's never
yeah.
easy, but
I think we're so insecure and fearful of the unknown that in moments like this, we make excuses or we think that we can change a person, which I'm telling you, you can't. People can only change themselves. You can give them tools, but it's down to them to pick them up. Um, but yeah, I absolutely agree.
that was a big lesson that I had to learn was understanding that people aren't going to see
Yeah,
the world the way that I do.
it's
And
hard.
even spiritual to other spiritual people, they even aren't even going to see the world the way that you do because
Yeah,
nobody walks the world in your shoes. So everybody's going to see it a little differently.
yeah.
So
It
just
brings you back
understanding to
to
not have
who
that
truly
bias in
you
there is
are.
important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important.
Yeah. So other than tarot, do you do any other forms of like divination? You
So
said the
I check the
pendulum.
pendulum out every. That's but mostly tarot and oracle. But being a psychic is a thing in itself. Like the cards are a tool. You don't need the cards to do readings. I could sit and like do it without, but I like the cards because they give a little bit of extra guidance. But I'd say other than that, as far as practices go, so not so much divination. Um, I'm very fond of helping the environment. I spend every day in the forest, just me and my dog. Um, I feel like I know the trees there in a way, as crazy as that will sound to a lot of people.
It's
I
not crazy.
also, as I said,
When you
thank
say
you.
things like that,
It's
I get you. When you say I know the trees, I'm like, I get you.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. For the people who don't, for the unaware, but I'm very much a noticer of things, and I feel like animal signs and things like that, and talking to the statues on my altar. Those are all practices for me. I feel like my intuition's constantly on. I remember I had Reiki recently done like some healing, and she said your chakras are pretty much all blocked other than your third eye, which is wide open. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm working on it, but the way I live day to day, it's there's a constant conversation through my head. I'm constantly in time with music or with certain things falling, and they all tell me things, and they're all relevant to what I'm going through at that moment. So it's crazy. It's just a constant way of being, a constant knowing or a constant feeling. Like I know pretty much how everyone feels about me under the surface, and that's something that I can't help. I can just see and I can feel. And part of me hates that because some things shouldn't be known. And people work in different ways, and you have to take them as they are face on because we all have judgment, we all have um, a flirtatious nature, we all have our own insecurities that we might pass on in a sense. But unless someone feels like they're going to put harm or disrespect on you, you kind of just have to ignore it.
Yeah, for sure. And just being able to
Mm,
weed through the bullshit when people are talking to you like that, right?
yeah. I'm so grateful I've never been broken up with or cheated on, or I've never really had friends that have fucked me over. It's more been like they've gone through shit
And
and
that's
I'm kind of
crazy.
like,
I
you know
feel like
what,
that's
you're turning
rare.
into an ugly from a young age where I had all that bullshit happening, like with my dad. I've also been through a lot of kind of sexual assault and things growing up, like from a really young age. I feel like it's just taught me how to know who to fuck with and who to not. Like, I wouldn't advise people to hitchhike, but I've hitchhiked because I can tell. Like, I know when I'm going to be safe. I've been in so many situations uh, where I could write a book about that are just so dangerous where I shouldn't have really made it in a way, or something bad should have happened. But through trust in myself, like, I've always just escaped. Like, my life's been pretty crazy.
That's crazy, I bet. And that's even like an example of you using your own intuition to like guide yourself and weave through the scary shit so you can guarantee
Yeah.
yourself it's not in a bad position.
I mean, about 3 or 4 years ago, I fucked off everything in my life. So I was in a relationship for 5 years. I had all of the same friends for 8 years. I was working in the city in a high-end hair salon for 5 years. Um, and I just, even though everything was okay and it was fine, I felt unfulfilled. And something in my head, like whether it was spirit or what, was just like, bitch, let go, leave your job, become a witch. And then I just did. I broke up with my boyfriend. I left all of those friends. I uh, quit my job. I went for 4 days, sat by the beach, like explored, had fun, lived free for a bit. I found out what I was going to do, and I've never felt happier. I was always raised in a family where money and that capitalistic view was really important. Like it was more like even though money can't buy love, that's how they tried to do it in my family a lot of the time. And after breaking down all those barriers of what I thought were right into a place where I have my own shop, but people trying to steal from me, but I've got no money in the till for people to steal, like not being able to afford the bus to my shop every day, but feeling so happy and just purposeful that what I was doing was helping. Like I wanted to quit my job to be aligned with my spirituality, to help others on theirs. And I felt like I had that wisdom to kind of give. So I think trusting your intuition and taking leaps, even if they sound fucking crazy, I always say millions of people before you have done way crazier shit than what you want to do. So why not you? And just fucking do it. Find your inner pocket.
Yeah. Do you feel fulfilled now? Like your cup is full?
I feel so fulfilled. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like I'm such an emotional person as well. And I cry about the life that I have now compared to how I've lived my life before. I just everything makes sense and life just feels so warm. And even in the times where things are scary, oh, I'm not going to afford my bills this month, or uh, anything unknown, or anything that's testing my anxiety or my faith in this, like I've got so much love and a knowing there that it's all just a part of the journey. And I think living my life spiritually has given me so much.
Yeah. And I think there's so much power in just even that, just knowing that it is gonna be a journey, but you stepping foot on your path and just going for what you want to do is way more worth it. And it shows you a level of gratitude. I deal with the same things a lot too. I'm like, life is shitty, but like it's not shitty because my cup is full. Like I feel like I have a purpose now. Like I'm doing things for a reason. So it's just like it shows me a different level of gratitude. I'm just like I get little dopamine hits throughout the day. I'm just like I'm happy because I'm doing what I want to do finally. So I totally get you when you say that.
Once you find that and you actually start practicing that, I mean, for me and you, I feel like we're in similar places within our journeys within our business. Like just looking at our followers and things like that. You've got probably double the amount of mine. But I think during those times where you might get 2 likes on a video or something like that, it really doesn't matter because you're proud of what you've put out and it just adds to your portfolio and you're thinking, well, I'm
Exactly.
doing
You
things
get
that
it.
you wouldn't
Exactly.
even dare doing. The fear it took for you to take that jump in the first place, not everyone can do that. And it's incredible to know that you're on that journey. And once you've started it, you just don't want to look back. Like, I refuse to ever work for another person again. Like, I'm going to make this work.
Yeah, and it's so cool. Just even when it is okay to look back every, not like to stay back there, just to like glance back and just reflect every once in a while and just enjoy the gratitude. I do that all the time. I look back at like past episodes and I'm like, these are like aging
Yeah,
really well. But I'm like, it's crazy. Like you said, it's just you gotta at least get on the path first. And that's finding yourself. That's understanding yourself. That's
mm,
understanding what your purpose is. And then just doing it. Just
hmm
not doing it for anybody else other than yourself. And then the universe repays you when you give to yourself. I noticed that a lot.
I agree. I've always found that whenever I've faced my fears or done something that went against what I thought would turn out well, it's always paid off massively. And I'm starting to work with that more now that I've realized it's the universe's way of saying it's okay to do things you're scared of. Here's a treat for doing that. Like, here's a sticker.
Mhm. Yeah, it's almost like the same way that we would give a treat to
Confirmation.
spirit, like give them an offering or something, that's the universe giving us our little
Yeah.
treat.
It's like, thank you for doing almost what you were meant to do. Like, it's almost like life's a big mystery, but every now and then you'll figure out those clues and it'll be confirmed to you through whichever means, like spirit, nature, whatever.
It's so cool. Yeah, I'm enjoying this
It is. It's
conversation.
an interesting one. Me too. Honestly, I could talk about this stuff all day,
I know.
and I do.
Yeah. That's really cool. I'm so glad you get it because yeah, I think like you said, we're similarly on our paths and like where we are and things like
Mm,
that. And like yeah, like you said it perfectly. I'm at that point where I don't care. I just want to keep putting out what I want to do. This is something I can do for the rest of my life,
me
and that's
too.
what I intend on doing. I just started it. So
Hmm
it's just fun. It's just
That's
nice
it.
knowing that I have purpose.
Absolutely, and that is how it feels. It feels like a sense of purpose. I feel like once you find that inner fuck it, in a way, I always say that in my readings. Once you find that, like, there's no stopping you in a way because you just, again, your path's so clear. You're not doubted by ego or shame or like desire or anything like that. Like to live intuitively is kind of to live free. But a lot of people struggle with that, and it's a journey for most. But I think if there's anything you want to do in life, think about the person that you need to get what you want to get done, if that made sense. As I said, with me starting this, I knew I had to be a not anxious person if I wanted to sit in front of strangers and say with
Yeah.
chest what's going on in my life. Like, that's fucking terrifying. But yeah, I remember last year I forced myself at a Renaissance festival to have a whole panel about witchcraft and stand up on stage
Oh,
for
that's
like up to
cool.
40 minutes and speak. My knees were shaking the entire time. I burst
Hmm.
into tears as soon as I got off stage because it was so overwhelming. But fuck yeah, I did that. Go against the grain of your anxiety, of your fears, because if you want to do something, all you're going to do is look back and think, oh fuck, I kind of settled. If you don't, you never know unless you try it. And if it's not going to fucking kill you, just do it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's in our head. A lot of those demons
you
are
can
in our
prove
head.
me
It's
wrong.
demons that we create for ourselves. I'm the kind of
Yeah.
anxious where I will make up the worst scenario in my head and
Mm.
I
I'm
will
with
see
it.
myself going through it that way and then A, B, C, other like making up all these scenarios in my head and I always pick the worst one and I'm like, okay, this is the worst thing that could happen. This is the best. I just make it make sense to myself in this fucked up, torturing kind of way in my head. But it's therapy, but it
Hmm.
works.
Well, it's like that saying, like, you've thought of the worst case scenario, but have you thought of thinking about the best and going with that instead? Like our brain finds so much comfort in protecting ourselves in the scariest ways, and that's another thing to discern is whether those physical feelings are actually logical or not. Like I always say to people who are really stressed out as well, within readings, I'm like, there's too much going on in your head. Please write down exactly what is stressing you because our physical feelings are so much bigger than what's mentally there. For example, if someone's got financial stress, they might write down everything on their to-do list, but think, oh, wait, that doesn't need to be paid off for another few months. That's just a possibility. I haven't even started on that yet. And you can kind of compartmentalize them that way. And I think that really helps people with stress because if you
It's just
don't
getting a
kind
foothold
of
on
keep
it
track of
and not
what's
letting it
happening,
consume you,
oh,
I
you're going
think.
to freak out. That's it.
I
Exactly.
think you said it
Yeah, it's,
perfectly. Compartmentalizing it, just getting a grasp on it, and just understanding what you're going through, and not putting an intention out there that's gonna fucking make it worse. Because, like you said, you're already thinking about it in that way. You're already like, oh shit, the bills are due, whatever the case may be. But if you put an intention on top of that and be like, yeah, shit sucks right now. Like fuck, like it's just making it worse. So you've really got to understand yourself and get a foothold on it and compartmentalize it. It's gonna suck, but it's not the end of the world. We're gonna get through it. But I think
yeah,
definitely I see a lot of people make it
exactly.
worse for themselves unintentionally while doing it
Yeah,
intentionally.
exactly. Like we all, I read somewhere we all believe everything that we do, we are doing our best at any one time, even if it isn't our best at all time. So it's like in that moment, you think that the path you're going down is rational or right, whether it's because you're trying to save your emotions or not. It's only through that perspective where you look back and think, maybe that wasn't the right decision, but at least you can accept that it was a decision that's led you to where you are now. I also think with people who have these fears and it's like a constant up and down, that they've survived this before. And chances are, if they're the same person, if they're still trying, unless some big catastrophic event happens to them which you can't control, chances are you're going to be fine because you're equipped to deal with it. You just might not realize because the danger signs are still there.
It's uncomfortable and people don't like to be in that uncomfortableness, but there's a beauty in that as well. It's always there. It's like people try to make it seem like it's not there. Like it's just gonna go away. Like if we hide under the blankets, it's gonna go away. That's not reality.
Oh God, no. I can't do that. I'm such a. There's something so raw and telling about the darkness. Like, for
It's
everything that
beautiful.
I've been through, I've always figured out the what or the why, and I've always felt like my pain is what's brought the best out of me. Like, pressure makes diamonds in a lot of cases, and also that need to prove people wrong or to fucking stand for yourself or noticing the lessons of why something's happened to you and understanding people through that or how to protect yourself through that. Like, there's so much pain and beauty, and every time something big and painful happens, try to kind of see from that higher perspective of what is this trying to teach me? Can I withstand this? How do I handle this kind of pain or this kind of anger? Am I going to be rational about it, or am I just going to let out at you all of this anger that I have for you in this moment and then worry about it later?
Yeah, always look for the teachable moments because they're everywhere. You can always learn something. Like you're never gonna stop learning. Like once you're a student of the game, like you're always gonna be student of the game. So there's always teachable moments. I love that.
I love it. I love it. And it gives you a lot of clarity and faith in kind of viewing things that way, because at least there's a reason for your pain, um,
And reassurance.
in most
It gives
cases.
you almost like it's okay to I use that as almost like my comfort zone is thriving in the
Me
uncomfortable and just
too.
being doing these, just being putting myself out there when you're actually this is me doing the work, like just doing what I didn't want to do. I not that I didn't want to do this with you.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to this.
No,
It's
I
just
get
putting
it.
myself in that uncomfortable position. There's something really beautiful about that. Me knowing exactly what I fear
Yeah.
and then doing that on a regular
Hmm.
basis.
Like
Oh my God.
afterwards, I know. I feel like after this, we're both gonna turn off the cameras and go, yeah, like that was great. But I bet before this, we were both thinking, for fuck's sake, I don't want to come on here because we're both anxious. But we put ourselves into it at a time where we're feeling more confident because we don't want an anxious person to interfere
We're
with
doing
that.
it at the right time
So,
in our
not
journeys,
a bad
right?
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So. But now that we're on here, I don't feel anxious at all. And that's the way it
Yeah.
always is. And that's a pattern
Mhm.
to recognize with anxiety.
Yeah, it's something that we make up in our heads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely agree. It's valid in a lot of reasons because we go off experience. But after a certain point, once you've proven to yourself time and time again that it's okay not to be scared of a certain thing and you still have that feeling there, that's when it gets annoying. I'm like, right,
Mhm.
acclimatized to what's going on and stop being scared of it anymore. Fear, just like anything, is definitely a process, and it's how you take control of that.
Exactly. Ruby had a good question, but I think we answered it earlier, but she might have not been here. She said, "People with psychic abilities can read tarot without being a practicing witch. Are you a witch, Jade?"
So I always see things
And
as
if you are, what
separate.
kind?
So being a psychic and yeah, I always find being a psychic and being a witch as separate things. Like I'm a psychic for my job, but I'm supposedly like a witch in my day to day, and I'd say I'm a forest witch. Like I'm always picking up bones and sticks and honoring the earth. I walk around picking up litter. I feel like the trees speak to me. I'm
You're
always
foraging.
I am all of the above, but I am a woman of the woods. Like that is me. I'm all about nature. But I definitely say you're right. Like you don't have to be a practicing witch to be a psychic.
Yeah.
I meet psychics on a weekly basis, and most of them just look like you or me. Like it's rare that I meet one that looks all witchy and things like that. But my style came way before I got into all of this.
Mhm.
Um,
I think
but
we're
yeah,
like the
you
new
don't
How old are
need
you? Can I ask your age? I'm 27.
I'm 25, so I was born in 2000.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like the new witch is like people that look like you and I, just people that don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I feel like looking more into the 90s or earlier people that I've met, they dress a lot more lighter in clothing. Like it's a lot more that I don't want to say like a hippie kind of spiritual movement, but it's more holistic, I'd say, the
Yeah.
people that I meet. Like they're quite plain clothed and they're very love and light, which I'm very love and light too, but in a different way, in a more raw way. Um, but I feel like the new wave of witches that I've seen, they're a lot more empowered and have a lot more kind of darker sort of passion in a sense. And I think
Yeah.
that's almost because of the state of the world at the moment. Like we almost need people to raise and have their voices heard. And I feel like the people put on earth now to teach that are going to help raise that in a way. I just hope they do it in a place of love and not hate, but
Yeah.
being secure in yourself and not giving a fuck. Do no harm, take no shit.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a beautiful saying. That's a tattoo, I think.
Oh, I agree. Trump stamp.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's definitely what we need a lot more these days. But I had a really fun
I
conversation
agree.
today. I think that'll be good.
Me
We're almost
too.
at 100 minutes. I don't know how many
I know I
British
was
minutes
gonna say
that
the
is,
same
but I
thing.
think it's the same. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You almost made me think that. But yeah,
But is there anything that
thank
you
you
wanna
so
plug?
much.
Anything you got coming up, your socials, all that
I
good stuff?
do. Um, if you've got Instagram, please follow me at __ psychic Jade. I'm currently doing a
Okay, so it's
giveaway
2 underscores.
for a few general readings. Yeah, __ psychic Jade. Um, and I'm currently doing a giveaway for a free general reading. All you need to do is like the post, put it on your story, and tag someone in the comments. And yeah, if you want to raise your intuition, I do online circles, so it's on a Zoom call. All you need is a pack of tarot cards and a willingness to be open. Um,
Okay, I love
but yeah,
that.
thank you so much for having me, Randy. Like, I've really enjoyed this. We connect on a lot of different levels with spirituality.
I'm glad, I'm glad, I'm glad you get it because like I said, I was super nervous before this because you never know how these things are gonna go, but I had a really fun time. I'm glad that you get it, like, because you never know. One of these times I bring somebody on the pod, it might be somebody that just doesn't get it, and I'm sure you know a lot of people like that. Somebody that just you're talking to
Exactly.
a wall
I
when
feel
you're
like as
speaking.
well.
What's that?
That's I was gonna say, I feel like as well, the way my assume that I don't know what's good, but I fucking do. I just look good whilst doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Glory to the God within.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Well, I'm glad. I
yeah,
had a really
I'm
fun
glad that we
time.
were
So
able
everybody
to
follow
connect
her
and I
at
feel like
__ psychic Jade, right?
thank you. Absolutely, that's me.
Of course, of course. So I'm definitely gonna keep following you. Like I'm excited to watch your journey.
Yeah,
Like
you
we'll see how
too.
maybe we'll have this conversation again in the future, and we'll check back and see how we are on our
I
journeys.
hope
Because like I
so.
said, I think
When
we're
we're very
similarly.
confident. Yeah, I find it very interesting. I could talk with you all day about this, but probably best not to.
Yeah, of course. Alrighty. Well, we'll catch you guys later. Thank you guys. Season 2, episode 10, Purgatory Club. Thank you again, Jade.
Thank you. Bye.